Hi, in this video we're going to talk about Medicaid eligibility. In other words, how do I qualify for Medicaid if I need it? In our practice, we do primarily elder law. So we help seniors and older people to access to this benefit in case they need it. So the idea of this presentation is to sort of give you the basics of how you become eligible for this benefit and when you need to think about Medicaid to cover for your needs and long-term care, basically. So Medicaid is a program that covers medical needs for people who are in need of medical services. So it doesn't help anyone who is healthy. So you have to be ill or you have to be in need of medical services. So that's one of the first requirements. So your health. Are you sick enough to need Medicaid? Because it's a program for people with very low resources, Medicaid will check your financials. So in other words, it's not like Medicare where you are eligible just because you reach the age of 65. For Medicaid, that may be one of the conditions, but it's not the only one. Again, they're going to check your financials, and we're going to go over that in a minute. You also, in this case, for benefit for the elderly, you have to be either blind, disabled, or 65 years old, and finally, you have to be a U.S. citizen. So these are the basic requirements for Medicaid. Now, let's go over the financials in more detail because that's one of the main questions people ask when they want to apply for Medicaid. So when is it that you encounter this situation? Maybe you or your spouse or a family member or your parents are in the hospital and you are discharged and then you're going to a rehab facility and you see that Medicare covers probably a portion of that. So they tell you, look, you need to look for Medicaid because Medicare covers up to, let's say, 100 days of rehab facility. So, and then they tell you, well, you need to look for Medicaid for the remaining of your care, of your needs. So then you start thinking about, okay, well, do I apply for it? How I become eligible for Medicaid? And you need to understand the numbers. You need to understand the income limits and the asset limits. Okay, for a single person, the income limit in 2020, right now we're in 2020, is $2,349 a month gross income. So income is anything that you get monthly or currently or in frequent increments, let's say every month, every quarter, every year, that is your income. And again, it's gross income. So it's not the amount that you see in your checking account. It's the amount that is determined by whoever is giving you the income to be your gross income. So when you see the number that you receive in your checking account, you need to add back your taxes, your deductions, and things like that. So remember, it's gross income. Assets for a single person is $2,000. It's $2,000 period. It's not $2,000 a month. It's $2,000, let's say, in your bank account, in whatever asset that you own. So this is basically or typically something that really confuses people. So it's $2,000. Now, there are exempts, so things that the Medicaid agency doesn't consider when calculating the $2,000. So these are the house, your car, and your personal stuff. So you can own a house, let's say $300,000, and still be eligible for Medicaid, even though the limit is $2,000 because it's exempted. So again, even if you are a single person and you are not, there are no chances of you coming back to your home after your nursing home stay, your house is exempt. Same thing with your car, same thing with your jewelry, I'm sorry, not your jewelry, but your china, your furniture, and things like that. Now, the numbers vary depending on whether you are single or married. So if you are married, the question is now income. What if your spouse, your healthy spouse, makes too much money or makes very little money? In that case, what happened is, number one, the Medicaid is not going to consider the spouse's income. It's only the person that is going to be needing Medicaid. That person's income is going to be considered. So let's say the ill spouse is making $1,000 a month from Social Security, and the healthy spouse makes $10,000 from retirement. So the $10,000 from the healthy spouse is not going to be considered in that equation, the $2,349. So what if the healthy spouse makes too little? Then what Medicaid will allow the ill spouse or the person who is in the nursing home or is applying for nursing home benefits is going to allow that income to go to the healthy spouse who doesn't make too much money. That's called income diversion, but that's a topic for a different video. But now what you need to know is that, number one, the income is only the income for the person who is applying for benefit, not for the healthy spouse. And there could be a possibility of income diversion if the healthy spouse needs the income from the ill spouse to survive. Now, for the healthy spouse too, there is an allowance, and that allowance is $128,640 that the healthy spouse can keep for her if the husband goes to let's say the husband goes to the nursing home, wife can keep up to this amount in 2020 for her needs. So let's say they have $130,000 in savings. Well, the spouse, the healthy spouse, can keep pretty much all of that minus, let's say, $2,000, but can keep all of that for herself. Now, the question is later, what if she needs Medicaid? Well, that's another topic. But right now, you need to understand that there is an allowance. And in addition to all this, there are also exceptions. And the exceptions are many exceptions in the law that we need to consider. One of them is retirement accounts. For retirement accounts, for either healthy spouse or ill spouse, they consider only the income of that retirement account. So let's say you have a 401k or an IRA, and the 401k has $1 million in it. The Medicaid is only concerned about the income that generates that $1 million. It's not the $1 million. So the principal portion of the retirement account is exempted. Again, there are some conditions, and one of those conditions is that you gotta be in the required minimum distribution time for that principal to be exempted from the equation. So it's not going to be considered. So what's the goal when we see a client and comes to us in a consultation about, do I qualify for Medicaid? So we go over these numbers. We go over this number with the client. Well, we ask, well, what do you have? I have a home, I have a retirement account, checking, saving, a second property, lots, annuities, life insurance, all that we need to consider to determine whether you exceed either the $128,640 or the $2,000 in case of a single person. So the goal is that we bring those numbers to this limit through planning and through different techniques that we use, and then we make you eligible for Medicaid. So again, the consultation requires you to disclose exactly how much you have in income and assets and how you own it and what type of account is, so we can determine whether you are eligible or not. Thank you very much.